3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
What's up? That stung a little.
Little bit.
What's going on?
What's going on? What's going on, guys? It's Charlie from Sightbox. It's been over a year easily since we've recorded, done a vlog. And so we're just about at that point in the agency where we've documented sort of the last 5-year journey. In fact, if you go back to 2019, Nathan and I were whiteboarding in our little Redondo Beach office about how we wanted to work with startups and wanted to pivot the whole agency away from the type of businesses we were working with to just working with founders and startups. And I mean, as you can see the sign behind me, it's a billion or bust. And here we are 5 years later and kind of worked. And so, you know, we've gone through the ups and downs. I would say part of the reason we haven't recorded a lot of content over the last years is because of the downs, and that's Presley there. And so, yeah, you know, when things are down, you kind of heads down working, trying to figure the next steps. And so it's a little unmotivating, if I'm being honest, to put yourself out there when stuff is down. And so we're not out of the water, but we're definitely on the upward trend, and we're holding on strong. Fortunately for us, AI kind of came out of nowhere last year, and it's sort of, we caught the wave, and that's what we've been doing, man. That's why we've been up in San Francisco and Silicon Valley pretty much every month for the last, I would say, 8 or 10 months. And so there's a lot of stuff happening around the agency. We've got a lot of new team members. We got a vision for the next 3 to 5 years. We've been working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes, so we're super excited. We hope that if you're watching this for the first time, you'll go along the journey with us, or if you're someone that's been watching from years before, I mean, there's a whole lot to come. So we hope you stay tuned and you watch, you know, for what Sightbox is up to. So appreciate you guys. You go back to like episode 5, and like here we are 5 years into it.
When was that again?
That was 2019.
Dang. Yeah.
We looked at it 5 years ago.
Dang. Yeah. Was this at Taco Bell?
Yeah.
Sponsored by Taco Bell?
Hey, these are the old days, man. When I was eating whatever. Nowadays, all meat, baby.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, you should be all scrawny. Yeah.
What a roller coaster.
It worked.
It worked.
So far.
Yeah. So now what, like, trying to figure out what the next 5 years is going to look like, right?
Yeah.
I think for me, I think embracing AI is going to be...
Oh, yeah. It's riding that wave.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. This kind of got us, we got our surfboard. We got some lessons. We're out there.
Yeah.
Now the big one's coming, the big kahuna.
Yep. Yeah.
So, yeah. And I'm still stunned, dude. I mean, I think it was like probably a year ago, we were sitting here going, okay, we built this with 3 VCs.
Yeah.
In our, you know, in our portfolio, let's double it.
Yeah.
And we've tripled it.
We tripled.
So that's huge.
Yeah. And I was just telling Zach here, it started by, sometimes you just gotta break in somehow.
Yeah.
And it was like, hey, can I pay for pizzas?
Yes.
At the next event.
It's like finding that crack.
Yeah. They're like, you want to sponsor the food? I'll pay for it.
Yeah, you want in? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So then now we're in the door.
Yes.
And then, hey, you want to do a dinner?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah.
And one thing that leads to another. And you know, you're friends with half these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just want to hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what's the craziest thing about it, dude. Like when we were in at the Llama Lounge, is it felt like just hanging out with people. Like we know.
Yeah.
Like we're regulars now.
Yes. And the pressure of
we're like regulars at the bar, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, Noor.
Yeah.
You know, hey. You know.
Yeah.
I love that. It's crazy. Yeah.
And before we go to events, just sweating it. Like,
dude, we're always a stranger.
We gotta get someone, you know.
Yeah.
This pressure of we gotta You gotta land someone here.
Yeah, it's like going to the bar and trying to, you know,
Try to pick up.
trying to do a pickup line, you know,
Yeah.
like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas now we're like the guy that's sitting at the bar going, "Hey, you're new here."
Yeah. It's on me.
Yeah, it's like, Jimmy, hook her up.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, it's definitely a different feel. I'll be honest, this is where AI is going to be. It's in Silicon Valley. It's not going to be down here. Not at first. Like LA is where you commercialize this stuff, right? Like here's where we sort of turn it into like mainstream products.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it starts, you know, it starts up there.
All right, we're gonna switch gears before our meeting with Bob.
And is it?
Let's 12.
Oh, okay.
We can pick it up after too, but I want to
You want
start
to do the brainstorm?
brainstorm.
Do we have any of those wipies?
Yeah, I think we do.
Those work really well. Those little Clorox wipes. So what are we brainstorming for?
So we've got a meeting with Belwood
Belwood, yes.
next week. I told them we were gonna bring some ideas, a pitch. And so what we've been talking about is the best way I can explain it is you have Belwood. To me, is a construction or a real estate company with the technology play. They're running the business like a real estate investment company.
Right.
Essentially, they flip homes, right?
Yeah, this is, and 80% of their stuff comes in from like a handful of institutional investing, right?
Yes.
And so this is really where their focus is right now.
Yeah.
Is in making sure these people are happy. Bo's dealing with these deals.
Yep.
And then you have this 20%, which is the fractional
investors through their investor portal, they call it.
Yeah. And so these people are just investing small amounts.
Yeah. 500, 1,000, 2,000.
Yeah.
Depending on the size of the deal.
Right. And so what the beauty of the model is it creates this creates a steady flow. They have steady access to capital. And these people are getting good deals and whatnot. But the problem is that this hasn't gotten the attention. And this, we want to kind of create, we think there's a potential here to flip the model, right? Potentially, this group is much larger than this. In terms
I don't
of
know
people.
if he necessarily needs the 80% to come from.
He doesn't need it, but he could, is what I'm thinking. Like,
It could. The way I see it is this 20%, which is the app. I feel like we should pitch the investor app as call it something else.
okay,
So like Robinhood.
right.
We've been talking about it being the Robin Hood of real estate, which doesn't exist. And so I think he's sitting on something very unique, which is the platform. And so imagine if he's, and again, I could be misspeaking here because I don't know the space, but let's say he's got $100 million worth of property that he's sitting on because he's flipping. I mean, then he's worth, his business is essentially worth what he has, assets that he's holding, right?
That's right.
And whatever potential gains he has on. But if he's sitting on technology, 1 million users, now you can put an evaluation on the tech and say, no, well, yes, this is true. 80% of this comes from here. And we do have $100 million worth of property, but we're actually worth $500 million because we have 1 million users investing
Yes.
20% of this, and that can grow exponentially over time.
Right.
But the play is the technology.
Right. This.
What's not to say he can't license that
Sure.
to other real estate?
That's an interesting play too. Yeah. Because this is.
How many people do flip homes?
Yeah, this is old school right here. I mean, this is not innovative. This is how it's. If you're a real estate investor, that's the sort of deals you're used to.
Yeah.
And that's how he's getting them, right? And we know this, right? Sort of, these aren't scary to anybody, right? This is where it gets a little wild. And what we're saying is we need to emphasize this. This is the place where we can make a difference. And what we're saying is, no, this is your $1 billion ticket.
That's it.
This is $1 million business. That's $1 billion business. What is that? Belwood.com? Oh no. Who is that?
Site name reserved.
Oh no. Sell that.
I need it.
Buy that thing. Yeah.
Buy this guy out.
Sell a house and buy that. Yeah.
So I think in terms of like a pitch, we need to sell them on this first, which is this is kind of where you're at, and we understand that your technology is attracting this portion of people, but from a brand perspective, you really feel like a real estate play, and your path to $1 billion, because he said, I'm in it for the billion, right?
Yeah. Right.
Your path there is like this, slow
Right.
and steady. Or you can say, keep doing this, you're great at it, but then let's focus on the tech. And if you want another team to run this piece, by all means, right? I think he had Megan kind of more on the tech side.
Right.
Like, so that he can focus on bringing in that 80%.
Yeah.
But how much easier is this going to be if this thing's blowing up over here?
Right.
And like people are dying to invest in our properties. We don't even have enough inventory.
Right.
Because people are just downloading the app.
Right. And suddenly this 80% is getting chased. It is getting chased by that 20%. And they're like, okay, well, you got to get in because I got investors waiting.
Yeah.
On this app, Yeah. And I think,
I got it.
what do you got?
I'm thinking about names too.
Right.
They probably exist. Oh. Deeds. Remember on these snacks? Hey. They're like the movie Deeds. But
Is there a movie called Deeds?
well, the Adam Sandler movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Deeds.
Boy, you kind of snuck up on me there.
I am very, very sneaky, sir.
I see that.
This is a joke, but what is it? What did he say was different about his thing? Because his is micro. What did he call it?
It's micro investing, but it's
He said
micro.
micro deed.
Yeah, he created.
Is
Yeah.
that what he called it?
Yes. Maybe or create a term, right? The micro deed.
Right. And so that's unique. Is this permanent?
No, they're just chalk markers, but they don't erase.
No.
It says easy to erase right on the thing. Yeah.
Right. So the plan is that you're gonna invest even like $2K, right? But then he's gonna give you you're gonna get a deed, and that's what makes it unique. It's like it's not going into limbo, and then you'll get an ROI maybe. Well, you're gonna get a deed. You're gonna be an owner of that property, along with these guys.
So I think there's a couple of ways to do it. I'll be honest. I think we can go in and present a new vision for the platform and get him really jazzed. My concern would be coming in and saying we're completely walking away from this Belwood name, or pivoting the entire thing. I think that could create some confusion in his mind. But saying we're gonna focus as if we're kind of gonna ignore the brand and the name, but we're gonna make what appeals to this audience on a tech platform. Because ideally, whatever this is gonna eclipse what currently exists, right? This, like I said, this 20%, like I said, we're gonna have ideally millions of people. This investor thing is gonna be in the hundreds or thousands down here.
Mm-hmm.
So ideally, it's only gonna be known to the public as this first, or whatever this app is. It's gonna lead public opinion, or you know what I mean? Like that's just gonna be known for. So I'd rather focus on how do we make this app and give it the love that it deserves, starting there, and then kind of making the brand thing. Well, how does this now fit then into the rest of it, and kind of leave that up to him. Because what I don't want him to say is like, I love it all, but I don't want to change the name. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, we had this fight in K Squad,
We did.
right?
We did.
Because he didn't want to change the name.
And then in the end he did, but he had to come up with it and
Right.
have his own thing with it, right? Built a concept for each line of it. So this was one of the successful mission-driven companies. That's what they wanted to focus on. So now this is sort of the idea that came from that. So it's all ties back.
Love it.
Essentially what we do with all of our clients is we call it the promise market fit. So we basically go in and try to figure out where they are in terms of their relationship with the clients and their customers, and do a little brand positioning. And so the way we do that is sort of break down their product, sort of based on how unique it is, and then also the impact they have on different communities. So customers, the users, the culture. So we do that, and then we come up with a sort of an overall statement, sort of summarizes all of it. And that's what we presented early last week, and they loved it. So that kind of gave us the go-ahead then to move on to the next step, which was the brand index and brand concepts. So it's a lot of just sort of inside baseball stuff, but essentially we're just doing the background work on what sort of makes them special and how do we express that to people. So that's really sort of what we're doing.
And that informs where and how we explore the brand visually
That's right.
versus just,
Just winging it.
and, shooting in the dark, designing different concepts, and then, showing the client, it's like with no pre-work, it's just like designing a space or house and just saying, which one do you like?
Yeah.
Which one feels right?
Right.
And that's like the worst way.
Right. We spend a little more time sort of trying to make sure that what we're building is not just something that's appealing to the client, but also works well for their customers.
That's right.
We're we're waiting to see if we're gonna make the cut to invest in Yeezy's new house or old house now that Belwood's bought it. We're gonna basically walk them through how we think we can help with their mobile app, and the thinking behind it is that we talked about this last week, right? About how we want to make the mobile experience stronger and more sort of something that can stand on its own. And so we're working on ways to do that. We did a little bit of homework today on just looking at other platforms that are out there. There's a couple that I thought were kind of interesting. There's this one called Happy Nest. But it's very interesting when you start looking around this sort of space, because there are ways you can invest fractionally in real estate.
But these are not for flips, right?
No, and that's the distinction.
That's the key to
That's the distinction. A lot of this stuff is we want you to buy and hold. That's a very different thing. But I think the thing that we need to make clear, even to Bo, is that yes, that is a distinction, but ultimately you're dealing potentially with these fractional investors. They're not very savvy, right? And so the question is how do you present it without sort of making it a big deal of nothing, right? Like, because if we make it like invest in flips, that actually sounds less.
Sounds more risky.
That sounds more risky, right?
Now, are these guys giving deeds?
No.
No deeds.
No. This is a much longer term.
And with Belwood, you're actually getting a deed.
Yes, you're fractionally investing.
So if our $1,000 investment gets approved for Kanye's old house, we'll invest $1,000 and we'll get a deed, like a micro deed, saying that we own $1,000 worth.
Right.
The $21 million he purchased it for, right? And so the house, for example, will be listed at somewhere in the $50 million range. So we're talking about 100% return on that money. So you invest 10 grand, you make 10 grand if everything plays out, right?
And probably within a year, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whereas you're going to see 10, 15% return. I mean, they're talking about dividends, quarterly dividends,
We just want to make it more approachable. We want to give it that Robin Hood essence to it.
Yes.
That Robin Hood has, because we believe that, like you said, one is they're different, they're positioned different, and I think they're less risky than even some of these other ones. They have the properties, they have enough properties, I think, and enough room to take on more micro investors.
Right.
And I happen to believe that if the platform takes off, that their company will be worth a whole lot more than whatever assets they have on management.
They're running a business right now.
Yeah.
And they could be running a startup, a tech company.
Yeah.
Your business is going to be worth 3 to 5 times annual earning. What portfolios get, whatever it is. Whereas a startup's going to potentially be worth 10 times that.
Yeah.
So your multiples are much better. And so that's what we're kind of pushing, right? Is to sort of so you can keep this piece of it, the business side, but sort of create this tech side to it that has much larger scale. All right, so we presented today to Belwood, and we went through our ideas for a new app for them, or at least an updated app, and it went extremely well, I thought.
Yeah, for the record, we're supposed to be there last Thursday.
That's right.
So we were prepping for that. They got bombarded with media because they bought this Kanye West house.
Yeah.
And so TMZ and all these outlets have been, blowing them up. Plus the project is so big that that's probably all he's doing right now.
Yeah. Yeah, he has to make this thing just...
So it turned into a virtual meeting, and that was this morning.
Yeah. So anyway, but we met with their team and presented these ideas, and they 100% were like, we need to do all of these things. So I think it went extremely well.
One thing that they pointed out was we're looking at the 80-20, like the 20% needed to grow.
Yes.
But what they said is we want to keep the retail
investment stay that way
as 20%, but we want to do more of it.
Right.
Meaning the volume was still going to grow, but it's not going to change the ratio, right?
Which is good. That's probably part of the
fine.
business model.
Yeah. That was new to me, but it makes sense because then even for them, right? It's from a business perspective.
But here you can see some of the stuff we proposed, an update to their current look.
Yeah. So then they kind of agreed with everything we mostly presented, but I think the approach was let's do a refresh of the current features, current app, current experience before talking about adding some of this new stuff, which might be more of phase 3 right or down the line.
Right, and trying to make it the experience a little smoother.
Yeah.
So you don't have to leave the app as often.
Right.
But yeah, it went really good.
So yeah, we'll see what happens next. And also for the record, we both threw in a little bit of money into this Kanye house to test out the experience, see how that whole thing went, and that kind of drove some of the things that we presented here.
Oh yeah,
because it's not a super clean experience, but they're totally aware of it. And from an MVP, like you said, from an MVP perspective, it does everything it needs to do.
Yeah.
To test their thesis, and it works.
It works.
People are making money.
Yes.
On the app, so all those things are possible.
It can just be better.
Yeah. We can eat. Peach. Good. Wow, she's dripped out.
Represent
Merch.
the merch.
Look at the merch.
She looks like a hot mess.
I know.
Ass, a diaper.
Can't even see. Look at us.
Wasn't there a TikTok, honey, on like this lady who said she needed an emotional support dog, and she got a dog, but it was so high strung,
It caused her.
like it needed
Shake.
emotional support.
Shake.
You're the emotional support animal now.
Allowed us to gather together. Beginning with them.
Let's do 26.
We could have passed it.
To you, happy birthday to you.
Good bite here. Yeah.
Where it says birthday, didn't go to real line.
What do we got?
Patty's is the same bakery we got for Anissa's wedding.
Oh
The different
my
cake.
goodness.
So
Those
there's
look
yellow with strawberry frosting, s'mores, chocolate with Oreo, and then these are what's the lemon?
Like a lemon?
Maybe lemon and strawberry. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.